Hi, everyone. I'm Coach Tiffany. I help people who are tired of feeling bad about themselves, about their body, about their relationship with food to finally heal their relationship with food and their body so that they can find peace and ease and joy and satisfaction in that relationship. And so that they can be freed up from all of that wasted mental and emotional energy that they're putting towards trying to control and manage their body or think about what they should do differently and put that energy instead towards the things that they really want to do in life. As somebody who struggled with these things, it's something I'm really passionate about. It's been so wonderful to find peace and joy. And so I enjoy helping others to do the same. All right, so today we're going to be talking about how eating restrictively, dieting, or even eating in a way that is not attuned to your body is hard on your digestion, and how intuitive eating and being more attuned to your body actually helps with digestion. So first off, we're going to actually talk about your nervous system. So in our nervous systems, or with our nervous systems, we tend to either be somebody who can easily regulate or somebody who's pretty easily dysregulated. And so you may be familiar with the window of tolerance or the window of presence, where they talk about, being in a hyper state of arousal or a lower kind of a shutdown state. And then what we're really looking for is to be in that green zone where we're comfortable, we feel safe and secure, where our nervous system is very regulated. And in that place is actually where like more healing and optimal digestion happens. And so if you're someone who's out of the window of tolerance pretty frequently, if you're someone whose nervous system isn't easily regulated, then you're likely struggling with digestion. You may be prone to constipation or diarrhea. You may not be absorbing nutrients well. You may be having a lot of bloating or some other symptoms. And so digestion is really impacted by our nervous system and our nervous system's, how regulated our nervous system is. So dieting and restricting actually increase preoccupation with food. It also increases thoughts of shame and increases a lot of the behavior that people are concerned about. So if you're eating restrictively, then you're going to often have the pendulum swing of eating in a way that feels out of control. And that cycle is really hard on your body. First of all, you're not getting enough nutrients. It puts you into more of a stress response, right? So you're going to be more in that kind of fight or flight, hyper state of arousal, or you're not going to have enough energy and you're going to go into shutdown. So it's going to really kind of prevent you from being in that window. Also, when you're having a lot of shame, that will tend to put you either into fight or flight or down into shutdown mode as well, more often into shutdown for most people. So it's going to increase preoccupation, which is going to increase anxiety, right? And so as we have increased anxiety, our nervous systems are more dysregulated. And when we're in that cycle where we diet and restrict, and then we have the pendulum swing where we kind of eat everything and throw the diet out the window, that's also going to be hard on your digestion in the sense that, like, you're not going to be getting consistent food, you're not going to be getting enough nutrients, and then suddenly you're going to be getting a large amount of food, maybe even so much that, eating in a way that's not attuned to your body, and maybe even so much that it's feeling uncomfortable physically, right? So you're not listening to your hunger and fullness signals because you're in that primal hunger stage where your body was just feeling restricted. It thinks that it's a famine, and now it's time to eat abundantly so that you can make up for that calorie deficit, right? And so, or honor those hunger signals kind of to an extreme. So then you're going to have a lot of food that you're trying to digest all at once, right? If you're eating beyond fullness on a really consistent basis, or eating an extreme, past fullness to an extreme amount, then that's going to be really hard on your digestion as well. So these are all ways that dieting and restriction, or even the idea that you should be eating healthy, can actually harm your digestion, both through throwing you out of nervous system regulation and through actual physical effects. The other piece about it is that when you're eating restrictively, you're going to find, or what we find is that people who are like diagnosed with anorexia and then they go through a refeeding phase, it actually causes a decrease in the variety and amount of good bacteria in your intestines. And so that is another consequence of restricting, is that it actually leads to less good bacteria in your gut. And so the studies show that it's actually on par with someone who has an actual GI disorder. Just having the disordered eating to that level creates the same negative impact as having a full-blown GI disorder. So all of these things are reasons that dieting, restricting, diet culture, diet mentality, anti-fat bias, weight stigma, those systems lead to us often trying to engage with dieting, and dieting then impacts our digestion negatively. All right, so what do we do about that? So first off, reject all that diet culture BS. We're going to throw that right out the window. That is not helpful. It does not, diets do not work. We know all of this. You can check out some of my other blogs on these pieces if you're not sure, if you're not familiar. You can also check out the intuitive eating book. There's some other really great anti-diet books out there as well. All right, so instead of doing the dieting thing, instead of shaming and shoulding ourselves and keeping our bodies and our nervous systems and our digestive tract all out of whack, instead, we're going to build body attunement. So body attunement just simply means being attuned or tuned in to the signals that our body's giving us. And that can include hunger and fullness signals, but it also includes things like the signal that I need a break, like I'm feeling restless, or the signal that I'm angry and someone is crossing a boundary, right? So it's really honoring the messages that our body is giving us and taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves. So we're going to build body attunement. We're going to build connection and trust with our bodies, and let that be the guide. So this is going to help your digestion in many ways. So first off, the more attuned you are to your body, the more you're able to honor your needs, the more you're able to stay in that window of tolerance or window of presence. I prefer window of presence. We're going to stay in that range. And in that range, again, is where optimal digestion happens. So our nervous systems are going to be more regulated. We're going to have less shame, less anxiety, less things kind of throwing us out of that window, right? Less things that throw us into fight or flight or the hyper state of arousal, and less things that throw us into shutdown or that low state of arousal or zero state of arousal. All right, so we're going to be more regulated in our nervous systems. We're going to be more attuned to our bodies. So when you're able to notice, like, hey, I don't feel great when I eat, this size of popcorn when I go to the movie theater, it actually makes me feel a little constipated, right? So we're not going to necessarily stop eating popcorn, but we're going to notice, okay, this is how this makes me feel. And then we'll have more discernment and choice in it. But for me personally, if I eat a large amount of popcorn, large amount for me, I'm doing air quotes, then I actually get constipated, right? So I tend to be, more cautious in the amount of popcorn that I eat, or I'm a little more discerning about how often I eat it because it doesn't always feel great to me. So that's one example. But also when we're honoring, so we're going to be honoring, how does this actually make me feel? We're going to be acknowledging that and then making choices based on that. But we're also going to be able to honor hunger and fullness signals. So when we're honoring hunger signals, we're going to eat more consistently and really be fueling our body, which again is going to help with that nervous system regulation. It's going to help with energy levels. It's going to help with sleep. It's going to help with blood sugar regulation. So eating regularly when your body says you're hungry is actually really good for digestion as well. Then, and eating regularly is great for digestion. Your body kind of knows what to expect. It's moving things through. You're not getting like a large amount of food all at once. You're just getting the amount that feels good to you. So that's where honoring your fullness signals come in. Now, we don't want to turn intuitive eating into the hunger fullness diet. There's nothing wrong with eating beyond fullness, especially if you're in choice about that and you're using discernment and you decide, I want to have a little more of this. This would feel good to me right now. But in general, if we're able to be aware of our fullness signals and honor them, that's going to help with digestion because your body's going to be processing the amount of food that it's able to process at once and not feel overburdened by that. You're less likely to get heartburn, bloating, all of these kinds of things. All right. And so there are other ways that intuitive eating helps with digestion and nervous system regulation as well, but I wanted to keep this short and sweet for you, just with the idea that dieting and restriction is harmful and hard on your digestion, versus eating in a tuned way is working with your body and really honoring your nervous system, honoring what your body is telling you, and promotes good digestion. All right, I hope this was helpful. Thank you.